Have you made your ancestors' sacrifice worthwhile today?
Bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger. And you do that in the gym. For example, when you go lift weights, you lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are.
More than who you are. Who you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are.
There's a mythological trope that I discuss fairly frequently about rescuing your father from the belly of the dragon or the belly of the beast. You see it in The Lion King. You see it when Simba is being initiated by the baboon, and he ends up contemplating himself in a dark pool, and then his father appears in the sky. And then in the Pinocchio story, when he's trying to become a genuine human being, instead of a marionette pulled by other people's strings, or a liar, or a jackass, because those are his alternate destinies, he goes down to the darkest place he could find, the bottom of the ocean, and finds the biggest monster he can look at, and inside he finds his father, and then rescues him.
More than who you are. Who you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than
The question is, why do you find your father when you look into the abyss? Imagine someone's pursuing a goal. Some of the things they have to accomplish or confront on the way to that goal frighten them, and they start to avoid, and then they get more afraid, and their ability to pursue their goal or to accomplish their goal deteriorates because they're avoiding. If you're a psychotherapist or even a friend or a supportive loved one, you're going to encourage the person to face the challenges that are making them afraid, to face them voluntarily. What happens as a consequence of that is that the person usually is able to overcome those fears and develop the necessary skill and to prevail. That's partly because, not so much because they get less afraid, but because they get more skilled and more courageous. If you bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger as a consequence. And you do that in the gym. For example, when you go lift weights, you lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are. Okay, so if you face fears a little bit at a time, fears and challenges, and you do that voluntarily, then you become
more than who you are. Who you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are.
Okay, now let's recast that in archetypal language and make it into a kind of ultimate. If you want to become everything that you could be, then you look into the abyss itself, which is the darkest place that you can possibly contemplate, the terror of mortality and insanity and of suffering and of malevolence, all of those. It would be like looking into hell, I suppose. And then by voluntarily doing that, you call upon the strongest part of yourself to respond. And the strongest part of yourself is symbolized as the sleeping father nested inside the beast. It's like an answer to Nietzsche's conundrum. If you look long enough into an abyss, then the abyss looks into you. It's like, well, if you look long enough into an abyss, past when the abyss looks into you, you see who you could become in the form of the great ancestral figures nested inside the catastrophe of life. Then you can join them. You can incorporate that and become stronger. And none of that's going to happen without the demand that's placed on you by willing to confront the full terror of life, the reality of suffering and death, the ever-looming presence of malevolence in your own heart and in the heart of other people. So it's evil and suffering. If you do it forthrightly, then you discover who you could be as a consequence. And who you could be is the solution to malevolence and suffering.
More than who you are, who you could be. More than who you are, more than you are. More than who you are, who you could be. More than who you are, more than you are.
Such a brilliant conceptualization that inside the darkest place is the heroic ancestor whose identity you could incorporate. Perfect. It's perfect. And I really believe it's true. And what it does is it says that the human being is actually stronger than the greatest challenge that can be set before him or her.
In comparing sins, the way that people do, Theophrastus says those done out of desire are worse than those done out of anger, which is good philosophy. The angry man seems to turn his back on reason out of a kind of pain and in a convulsion. But the man motivated by desire, who is mastered by pleasure, seems somehow more self-indulgent, less manly in his sins. Theophrastus is right and philosophically sound to say the sin committed out of pleasure deserves a harsher rebuke than the one committed out of pain. The angry man is more like a victim of wrongdoing, provoked by pain to anger. The other man rushes into wrongdoing on his own, moved to action by desire. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. If the gods exist, to abandon human beings is not frightening. The gods would never subject you to harm. And if they don't exist, or don't care what happens to us, what would be the point of living in a world without gods or providence? But they do exist. They do care what happens to us. And everything a person needs to avoid real harm, they have placed within him. If there were anything harmful on the other side of death, they would have made sure that the ability to avoid it was within you. If it doesn't harm your character, how can it harm your life? Nature would not overlook such dangers through failing to recognize, or because it saw them but was powerless to prevent or correct them. To prevent or correct them. Ay, nor would it ever, through inability or incompetence, make such a mistake as to let good and bad things happen indiscriminately to good and bad alike. Good and bad alike, good and bad alike. But death and life, success and failure, pain and pleasure, wealth and poverty, all these happen to good and bad alike. Good and bad alike, good and bad alike, good and bad alike. But death and life, success and failure, pain and pleasure, all these happen to good and bad alike. And they are neither noble nor shameful, and hence they're neither good nor bad. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now.
I read this New Testament line decades ago. I could never understand it. The line is, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I thought, there's something wrong with that line. It just doesn't make sense to me. Meek just doesn't seem to me to be a moral virtue. Meek is not a good translation. What it means is this: those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world. Will inherit the world. Those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world. That's a big difference. It's so great. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. Absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it. It's like, is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving? One definition of a winner is someone who never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. Buckle. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. Life isn't a game. It's a series of games. And the right ethic is to be the winner of the series of games. And part of that means, well, you have to learn how to be a good loser. Because you're not going to win every single game. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You can pick your level of competition in life to some degree. So let's say you pick a level of competition where you're always winning. Well, all that means is you pick the wrong level of competition. Let's say you're a grandmaster chess player and all you do is play amateurs, and every night you go home and congratulate yourself on what a genius you are because you just stomp these people left, right, and center. It's like, you're not a genius. You're dimwit. What you should be doing is playing people who are beating you like as much as you can tolerate. You want to be on the edge where your skills are being developed. Where loss is always a possibility. Where loss is always a possibility. Be a monster.
Recorded human civilization.
Clutch of circumstance. matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms what the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. Matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul.
Stand by to get some. First thing, that when a revolution happens, they take over the radio stations because they want to get right into the thoughts of the people. Think it's going into your brain. It's words. You ever heard of Akira The Don? Just press play. Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. And that is representative of life. You don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch every single second. Every single second, because every second counts. 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 But also, things don't usually fall apart quickly either. It's a slow process. Slip here, a little setback over there, a little wearing down of discipline and will over time. So that's the thing. Success and failure are generally slow processes, either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch every single second. Every single second, because every second counts. 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 Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours. And hours turn into days. And days turn into years. That second that just went by, that counted. And so did that second. And so did that one. And in those precious seconds, you were either building or you were decaying. You were either gaining ground or you were losing ground in that second.
Akira The Don.
He's got clout.
How do I deal with setbacks, failures, delays, defeat, or other disasters?
I actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations. It is actually one word to deal with all those situations. And that is good. And this is actually something that one of my guys that worked for me pointed out to me. He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. One day he was telling me about some issue that he was having. He said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. 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 You're going to say good. You're going to say good. You're going to say good. Good. So that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. Good. And I said, well, yeah. And I mean it. And that is how I feel. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. You can get more experience and build a better resume. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. Got injured. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Good. Needed a break from training. Got tapped out. Good. It's better to tap in training than to tap out on the street. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. And that's it. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. No. You just look at the issue and you say, good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. I don't mean to say something that's all cliche. I don't mean to sound like Mr. Positive. Find the positive. But do that. Do that. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Take that issue, take that problem. Take that issue, take that problem, and make it something good. Make it something good. And bring that attitude to your team. Do. You go forward. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. this out. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, go out on the attack. And that right there is about as good as it gets.
So these stories of mythology are simply trying to express a truth that can't be grasped any other way.
Well, I'll be damned.
It's the edge, the interface between what can be known and what is never to be discovered, because it is a mystery transcendent of all human research. The source of life. What is it? No one knows. It's important to live life with a knowledge of its mystery and of your own mystery. And it gives life a new zest, a new balance, a new harmony to do this. What is it that life is? I find thinking in mythological terms has helped people visibly. You see it happen. It erases anxieties, puts them in accord with the inevitables of their life, and they can see the positive values of what, the negative aspects of what is positive. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Dragons represent greed, really. The European dragon guards things in his cave, and what he guards are heaps of gold and virgins. And he can't make use of either of them, but he just guards. There's no vitality of experience, either of the value of the gold or of the female whom he's guarding there. Psychologically, the dragon is one's own binding of oneself to one's ego, and you're captured in your own dragon cage. The power of the psychiatrist is to break that dragon, open him up, so that you can have a larger field of relationships. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Whether you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. The real dragon is in you. That's your ego holding you in. What I want, what I believe, what I can do, what I think I love, and all that. What I regard as the aim of my life and so forth. It might be too small. It might be too small. It might be that which pins you down. And if it's simply that of doing what the environment tells you to do, it certainly is pinning you down. And so the environment is your dragon as it reflects within yourself. As it reflects within yourself. As it's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Whether you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive. you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Jung had a patient come to him who felt alone, and she drew a picture of herself as caught in the rocks.
Well, I'll be damned.
From the waist down, she was bound in rocks, and this was on a windy shore, the wind blowing and her hair blowing, and all the gold, which is the sign of the vitality of life, was locked in the rocks. The next picture that he had her draw had followed something he had said to her. Suddenly, a lightning flash hit the rocks, and the gold came pouring out. And then she found reflected on rocks round about the gold. There was no more gold in the rocks. It was all available on the top. And in the conferences that follow, those patches of gold were identified. They were her friends. She wasn't alone, but she had locked herself in her own little room and life. But she had friends. But she had friends. Do you see what I'm meaning? This is killing the dragon. This is killing the dragon. And in doing that, you save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world. Save the world. Save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world.
How do I slay that dragon in me? What's the journey I have to make, you have to make, each of us has to make? You talk about something called the soul's high adventure.
My general formula for my students is follow your bliss. Study, find where it is, and don't be afraid to follow it. Follow your bliss. Study, find where it is, and don't be afraid. If the work that you're doing is the work that you chose to do because you are enjoying it, that's it. But if you think, oh gee, I couldn't do that, that's your dragon locking you in. Oh no, I couldn't be a writer. Oh no, I couldn't do what so-and-so is doing.
Unlike the classical heroes, we're not going on our journey to save the world, but to save ourselves.
And in doing that, you save the world. I mean, you do. The influence of a vital person vitalizes. There's no doubt about it. The world is a wasteland. People have the notion of saving the world by shifting it around and changing the rules and so forth. No, any world is a living world if it's alive. And the thing is to bring it to life. And the way to bring it to life is to find in your own case where your life is and be alive yourself, it seems to me. If you have someone who can help you, that's fine too. But ultimately, the last trick has to be done by you. This is killing the dragon. And in doing that, you save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world. Save the world. Save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world.
me from a lot of people is they go into a daunting task, and the task is overwhelming.
Akira.
And I heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups, and I was talking about breaking this record. People are like, oh my God. I went right to a pen and paper. Like, what are you doing? I'm doing the math, man. I'm doing the math, man. What are you talking about? I'm doing the math, man. I'm open-minded to the fact that, okay, if I do 5 pull-ups in a minute for so many hours, I can get so many pull-ups in. How much time do I have to rest? I was breaking the math down. You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. So that's why I came with this thing called taking souls. I started to devise ways to break a soul of a human being, of the object, of whatever's in front of me. If you keep on attacking something, nothing wants to stand in front of anything that is relentless. Nothing. That's when a lot of stuff started clicking, man. I started watching those instructors on the side. They've been there, done that. Now they're instructing you. They have their parkas on, it's usually cold, coffee, drinking their coffee, and they're beating the crap out of us. And when I started realizing, I started playing mind games. And I was like, you know what? I bet these fuckers are looking at us, judging themselves about when they were going through hell week. About looking at Goggins right now. I was better than him. I was better than that guy. I was better than that fucker over there. And I was like, okay. So what I started doing was I got my boat crew. It's Wednesday and everybody's broken, everybody's beat up, man, and everybody's like just kind of just trying to get through hell week now. And they tell you how you're supposed to feel. So you are feeling that way. I was like, don't let these motherfuckers tell you how you're supposed to feel. No, it's day one, motherfucker. This is hour one. So I was getting my boat crew all jacked up. I said, we're gonna take these motherfuckers' souls. So when they had us doing this simple thing that guys are struggling with, Bro Crew 2 was just launching the fucking boat and they're yelling, yeah, you can't fucking hurt us, can't hurt Bro Crew 2. And I looked on the instructors' faces and it looked like someone had just fucked with their soul. And I looked at my guys on the boat crew and I said, hey, guess what? Those motherfuckers aren't fucking tonight. Cause we own space in their fucking head. We own space, they're gonna think about us tonight. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. And we start fueling off of that. We start fueling off the fact that, man, it takes 1 second of energy to steal everybody's. And then you have all the energy you need. That's all you need. You need to look at someone's eyes. You know how it is when you fight somebody and you broke that motherfucker. He's like, oh God, man, I don't want to go back to the next round. And you feel like, my God, I can fight all day. That's what taking souls is. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up. You have nothing left to give. And give more. You know how you get that fight or flight response when you get to move real quick? I started learning the mind a lot, how to get myself jacked extremely fast in a horrible environment when everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. This is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons and tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, Goggins is fucking going, then everybody says, roger that. I started realizing that if you can just find strength just a little bit longer, you will have a crew of people following you along the way. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. You have to take great pleasure in the fact that no one wants to be where the fuck you're at right now. Great pleasure in that. It has to bring a passion out of you. It has to bring something very, very weird out of you, man. Like, you know, people don't really understand what that is. When you're in the worst environment possible, the worst situation possible, and everybody's looking like, God, man, I hope this ends. And you see that. Time slows down and you see that. You're feeling that. Everybody has that look on their face like, God, this gotta go. I don't want to be anymore. This is where I shine. This is where I shine. Let's say you have no races. Let's say you have no classes, no nothing. There's no purpose in your life. People need to have purpose to get up. They need purpose to perform. You need to get to a point in your life where there's nothing on the docket. There's no 5K, there's no, I'm gonna get into school to be this or that, and still perform to the highest level. Because what people don't get, one day that thing's gonna come up. And if you're not constantly performing without purpose, you're not gonna be ready when the time comes. It's this magical thing, purpose, that we're all looking for. But what's funny about it all is that we need these things to perform. But we don't take a second to realize the purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. You are always the purpose. The purpose is always there. Because the very purpose is you. There may be another purpose, like being a SEAL or going to college or whatever, but the main purpose in life is you. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, why am I not doing this for myself? That is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. That's the only purpose I fucking need. That's the only purpose I fucking need. So the reason I get up every day, even though there's no races, there's no school, there's nothing in front of me, is because I have pride in myself. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. You are always the purpose. The purpose is always there. Because the very purpose is you. You have to want to be better. It starts off with you have to have pride in yourself. You have to have pride in yourself. You have to have, there's something about you, whether it's your last name, the smallest thing, you have to be proud of yourself. And if you have no pride in yourself, I can't give it to you. I want to be the standard. I want to be that guy. Like if you go to whatever company, they have this mission statement on how we want to run our company. I made one for myself on how I want to be. And that is why if people can make up a mission statement, an ethos in which they want to live by, and every morning you wake up, you hold yourself accountable to that mission. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. The purpose is you. You are always the purpose. The purpose is always there. Because the very purpose is you. mission statement. What do you want to be in life? And once you do that, now you can work with somebody to get better. You can work with yourself to get better. Until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything. You'll never stand for anything. You'll never stand for anything.
The first chapter I have in my book is called Stand Up Straight with Your Shoulders Back. And it's an injunction to be combative, not least to further your career, let's say, but also to adopt a stance of ready engagement with the world and to reflect that in your posture. I kind of have an affinity for lobsters. When a lobster loses a fight, he kind of crunches down, so he looks smaller. When he wins a fight, he stretches out, looks bigger. And so he's signaling to other lobsters the tally of his victory. So you think, well, so what? The lobster runs on serotonin, neurochemical. And if the lobster loses, the serotonin levels go down. And if he wins, the serotonin levels go up. And when the serotonin levels go up, he stretches out. And he's a confident lobster. And one of the consequences of that is if a lobster loses a battle and you give him the equivalent of antidepressant, then he stretches out and he'll go fight again. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, 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 stand up straight with your shoulders back. So antidepressants work on lobsters. And you think, well, who cares? It's like, no, you don't get it. We diverged from lobsters from an evolutionary perspective 350 million years ago, and it's the same circuit. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that shows you how deep inside you, how basic, how primordial that circuit is in you. It's sizing other people up and looking at where they fit in the hierarchy. The idea of the hierarchy is at least 350 million years old. And so I read that and I think, well, so much for the idea that human hierarchies are a sociocultural construct. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's not just a little bit wrong, it's unbelievably wrong. It's mind-bogglingly wrong. Lobsters have hierarchies. That's 1/3 of a billion years ago. Okay, that's not a social construction. It's part of being itself. And if you only see a hierarchy as power and tyranny, then you're looking at the world wrong. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, 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 stand up straight with your shoulders back. So this basically says, I'm open to the world. But what it also says is I can handle being open to the world. So it signifies competence and confidence. The deepest Christian idea is that you should accept the vulnerability of being. That's the acceptance of the crucifixion. You're at the X where all the suffering takes place. You gonna whine about that? No, and get resentful and bitter about it? Or are you gonna say, bring it on? You can handle it, no matter what it is. And the idea is that if you can do that, you will transcend the tragedy. And it's like, well, could that be true? Well, you admire the courageous, so, well, how courageous can you get? That's the question. How courageous can you get? Well, you practice. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, 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 stand up straight with your shoulders back.
You want to present yourself to the world in a manner that doesn't disgrace you in some sense. You don't want to disgrace yourself because the consequence of disgrace is emotional dysregulation. More pain, less positive emotion. And so the best way to present yourself is to stand up forthrightly and to stretch out, and to occupy some space. If you straighten up and you present yourself in that manner, then other people are more likely to take you seriously. And that means they'll start treating you as if you're a number 1 lobster instead of a number 10 lobster, because one of the general rules of thumb about how to be successful is to confront things that frighten you forthrightly and with courage. And that's kind of a universal strategy for success. And so that's what the first chapter is about.
Continue to act thus, my dear Lucilius. Set yourself free for your own sake. Gather and save your time, which till lately has been forced from you, or filched away or merely slipped from your hands. Make yourself believe the truth of my words. There's certain moments are torn from us, some are gently removed, and others glide beyond our reach. And the others glide beyond our reach. The most disgraceful kind of loss is due to carelessness. Furthermore, if you will pay close heed to the problem, you will find the largest portion of our life passes while we are doing ill. A goodly share while we are doing nothing. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. What man can you show me who places any value on his time? Who reckons the worth of each day? Who understands that he is dying daily? For we're mistaken when we look forward to death. The major portion passed already. The years behind us are in death's hands. Therefore, do as you write me that you're doing. Hold every hour in your grasp. Lay hold of today's task, and you will not need to depend so much upon tomorrow's. While we are postponing, life speeds by. Nothing, Lucilius, is ours except time. We were entrusted by nature with ownership of a single thing so fleeting and slippery. Anyone who will can oust us from possession. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. What fools these mortals be? They allow the cheapest and most useless things, which can easily be replaced, to be charged in the reckoning. And after they've acquired them, never regard themselves in debt when they've received some of that precious commodity, time. And yet time is the one loan which even a grateful recipient cannot repay. You may desire to know how I who preach to you so freely am practicing. I confess frankly my expense account balances as you would expect from one who is free-handed. But careful, I cannot boast that I waste nothing, but I can at least tell you what I am wasting and the cause and manner of the loss. I can give you the reasons why I'm a poor man. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. My situation, however, is the same as that of many who are reduced to slender means through no fault of their own. Everyone forgives them, but no one comes to their rescue. What is the state of things then? It's this: I do not regard a man as poor if the little which remains is enough for him. I advise you, however, to keep what's really yours, and you cannot begin too early, for as our ancestors believed, it's too late to spare when you reach the dregs of the cask. Of that which remains at the bottom, the amount is slight and the quality is vile. Farewell. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left, and less of it is left. But this too, if we live longer, how can we be sure our minds will still be up to understanding the world, to the contemplation that aims at divine and human knowledge? If our mind starts to wander, we'll still go on breathing, go on eating. Perspiration, imagination, feeling urges and so on will not fail. All that will not fail. But the power of making the most use of ourselves, calculating where our duty lies, analyzing what we hear and see, deciding whether it's time to depart from life. All the things you need, a healthy mind for those who are gone. We must make haste and not just because daily we move closer to death, but also cause our understanding, our grasp of the world may be gone before we get there. It may be gone before we get there. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left, and less of it is left. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left. It's not just that every day more and more of our life is used up, and less of it is left. Less of it is left. We must make haste then, not just because daily we move closer to death, but also cause our understanding, our grasp of the world may be gone before we get there. It may be gone before we get there.
Take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, by your own definitions, right, within the value structure that you've created, to the degree that you've done that, what would you be like?
What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like? There are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were. If they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that. And so you could say, well, in part, perhaps the reason that you're suffering unbearably can be left at your feet, because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. You know it. You know it. Because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. You know it. You know it. What would you be like? 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 And of course, that's a terrible thing to admit, and it's a terrible thing to consider, but there's real promise in it, right? Because it means that perhaps there's another way that you could look at the world and another way that you could act in the world. So what it would reflect back to you would be much better than what it reflects back to you now. Imagine that many people did that. We've done a lot as human beings. We've done a lot of remarkable things, and I told you already today, for example, about 250,000 people will be lifted out of abject poverty. We're lifting people out of poverty collectively at a faster rate that's ever occurred in the history of humankind by a huge margin. So there's inequality developing in many places, and you hear lots of political agitation about that. But overall, the tide is lifting everyone up, and that's a great thing. We have no idea how fast we can multiply that if people got their act together and really aimed at it. If people got their act together and really aimed at it. What would you be like? 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 My experience is with people that we're probably running at about 51% of our capacity. I often ask how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste. The classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. Inefficient studying, watching things that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably 4 hours right there. Well, that's 25 hours a week. It's 100 hours a month. That's 2.5 full work weeks. It's half a year of work weeks per year. You're wasting $50,000 a year, and you are doing that right now. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient, 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient people get. It's completely, it's off the charts. What would you be like? 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 Well, and if we all got our act together collectively and stop making things worse, because that's another thing people do all the time. Not only do they not do what they should to make things better, they actively attempt to make things worse because they're spiteful or resentful or arrogant or deceitful or homicidal or genocidal or all of those things all bundled together in an absolutely pathological package. Pathological package. Pathological package. If people stop really, really trying just to make things worse, we have no idea how much better they would get just because of that. So you might say, well, what would happen if you abided by your conscience for 5 years? Or what sort of position might you be in? What would you be like? 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 What would you be like?
Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. He said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this: "Everything comes if a man will only wait. I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment." We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: "A man is what he thinks about all day long." William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." And he also said, "We need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. It will become so knit with habit and emotion that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief." He also said this: "If you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things, and wish them exclusively, and not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strongly." We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. In the Bible you read in Mark 9:23, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." Dr. Norman Vincent Peale said this: "This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. And the great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. 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 Believe and succeed.
The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, it will tell you. Program or be programmed. MEANINGWAVE. Watch your own brain.
The mind can go either direction under stress, toward positive or toward negative, on or off. Think of it as a spectrum whose extremes are unconsciousness at the negative end and hyperconsciousness at the positive end. The way the mind will lean under stress is strongly influenced by training. Seek freedom and become captive of your desires. Seek discipline and find your liberty. Seek freedom and become captive of your desires. Seek discipline and find your liberty. Find your liberty. Find your liberty. To know a thing well, know never support weakness, always supports strength. The test of a man isn't what you think he'll do, it's what he actually does. It's what he actually does.
It's what he actually does.
Seek freedom and become captive of your desires. Seek discipline and find your liberty. Seek freedom and become captive of your desires. Seek discipline and find your liberty. Find your liberty. Find your liberty.
Akira. He's got clout.
And the moral is that the realization of your bliss, your true being, comes when you have put aside passing moment with its terror and with its temptations and its statement of requirements of life. That you should live this way. Well, I always tell my students, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. Your bliss, where the deep sense of being informed, going where your body and soul want to go. When you have that feeling, then stay with it and don't let anyone throw you off. One fine evening, I was in my favorite restaurant. At a table were sitting a father, a mother, and a scrawny little boy, about 12 years old. The father says to the boy, "Drink your tomato juice." The boy says, "I don't want to." The father, with a louder voice, says, "Drink your tomato juice." And the mother says, "Don't make him do what he doesn't want to do." The father looks at her and he says, "He can't go through life doing what he wants to do. If he does only what he wants to do, he'll be dead. Look at me. I've never done a thing I wanted to in all my life." Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. A poet is one who's made a profession and a lifestyle of being in touch with that. Most people have to be concerned with other things. They get themselves involved in economic and other activities, or you're drafted into a war that isn't the one you're interested in. Most people living in that realm of occasional concerns, they all have the capacity that's waiting to be awakened. Well, we're having experiences all the time, which may, on occasion, render some sense of this. A little intuition of where your joy is. Grab it. No one can tell you what it's going to be. You've got to learn to recognize your own depths. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. It's miraculous. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life that you ought to be living is the one you're living somehow. When you can see it, you begin to deal with people who are in the field of your bliss. And they open doors to you right there, wherever you are. If you're following your bliss, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be.
This is the Peter Pan story. Peter Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking. It's not an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up. Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach. The crocodile, it's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that. He ends up king of the Lost Boys. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. And who the hell wants to be king of the Lost Boys? And he also sacrifices the possibility that he'll have a real relationship with a woman, because that's Wendy. She wants to grow up and have kids and have a life. She accepts her mortality. She accepts her maturity. Peter Pan has to content himself with Tinkerbell. She doesn't even exist. She's like the fairy of porn. She doesn't exist. She's the substitute for the real thing. There's a sacrificial element in maturation. You have to sacrifice the pluripotentiality of childhood for the actuality of a frame. Well, why would you do that? One reason is it happens to you whether you do it or not. You can either choose your damn limitation, or you can let it take you unaware when you're 30. or even worse, when you're 40. That is not a happy day. A happy day. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. When you're 25, you can be an idiot. It's no problem. Okay, well now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. Yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant. And that's an ugly thing. You choose your damn sacrifice because the sacrifice is inevitable. But at least you get to choose it. The problem with being a child is that all you are is potential. And it's really low resolution. You could be anything, but you're not anything. So then you go and you adopt an apprenticeship. At least you become something. And when you're something, that makes the world open up to you again. If you're a really good plumber, then you end up being far more than a plumber. You end up being a good employer. You run a business, you train some other people, you enlarge their lives, you're kind of a pillar of the community, you have your family. It's family. Once you pass through that narrow training period, which narrows you and constricts you and develops you at the same time, then you can come out the other end with a bunch of new possibility at hand. And Jung talked about that. He thought that part of the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not.
How many of you have ever thought, or maybe gagged when you heard somebody else say it, that they were trying to find themselves? I need to find myself. I need to figure out, who I am. Bad idea. Here's the reframe. Instead of being an explorer and trying to figure out who you are, how about authoring yourself to be what you want to be? You can author your situation. You don't have to discover who you are. You can make yourself who you want to be. Author yourself. Author yourself instead of finding yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself instead of finding yourself. Author yourself. That's one of the great things about human life, is that you don't have to be. You don't have to be anything. Anything. You can author yourself into almost any kind of situation. Obviously you can't author yourself $1 billion just because you want to. Maybe some people can. But I love these words. Instead of finding yourself, author yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself instead of finding yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself instead of finding yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself instead of finding yourself. Author yourself. Author yourself. That's very powerful if you take that to heart.
author yourself. Because sometimes we forget that we have that power, that we can turn ourselves into whatever we need to turn ourselves into. Author yourself. Instead of finding yourself, author yourself.
Meaning is what you have to buttress yourself against the tragedy of life. Despite the fact that you're a fragile, damaged, mortal creature, you found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning. It's an instinct. It's a deep, deep instinct. It's maybe the deepest instinct. It's like a form of vision. Meaning tells you when you're in the right place. And the right place is between chaos and order. And those are real places. Your hemispheres. Your right hemisphere is roughly evolved, let's say, to deal with things you don't understand. That's chaos. And your left is there to deal with things you do understand. You can't just stay with the things you do understand because you already understand them. And you can't just stay with what you don't understand because then you're lost. So you need to be in the middle of those two. And you can tell when you're in the middle because everything lines up. Everything lines up. Expedience is you do the thing that gets you off the hook the fastest right now. You play that game across time, it doesn't work. It sends you down because you're sacrificing the future for the present. Meaning doesn't do that. Meaning says, I'm here where I should be. And you can't tell why. It's just that everything is right. You get this physiological sense. Right place, right time. Follow this meaningful path. That's your buttress against the tragedy that produces resentment and malevolence. Meaning is the antidote to that. That's the fundamental religious truth. Life is suffering. That's true. There's malevolence. That's true. Meaning is the antidote to that. Yes. People say, well, meaning isn't real. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's actually the most real thing. It might even be more real than suffering and evil. It's possible. This isn't a metaphysical assumption that I'm making. And you do feel it. You feel it in your body. It's not just a mental thing. It's not an idea. It's a place. Because we're in time and space, right? And a place is a place, 3 dimensions of space, but it's also a time. And when the place and the time are set up properly, you're in the right place. And your brain is telling you that. Your being is telling you that. The purpose of profound religious contemplation, profound philosophical contemplation, is to learn how to be in the right place at the right time, all the time. All the time. there's this line from the Gospel of Thomas, which was discovered in like 1957. And it says, the kingdom of God is spread out before the eyes of men, but men do not see it. And that's kind of what it's referring to. There are times when you're in the right place at the right time, and then you're where you should be. And you're not really trained to notice that, because it isn't something we ever talk about. It's like, you're in the right place at the right time. Okay, why? What did I do right? What did I do? I need to do more of that. So maybe it's only half an hour a week when you first start noticing. And then maybe with 3 months of practice, you can get it up to like an hour a day. And then maybe you can get it up to 4 hours a day. And God only knows where you could get it if you keep practicing, you know. You can be there. We don't know what the upper limit of that is.
I see your talents have gone beyond the mere physical level. Your skills are now at the point of spiritual insight. What is the highest technique you hope to achieve?
To have no technique. To have no technique.
Very good. What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent. Because the word I does not exist. It does not exist. There is no opponent. Because the word I does not exist. It does not exist. A good fight should be like a small play, but played seriously. A good martial artist does not become tense, but ready. Ready. Not thinking yet, not dreaming. Ready for whatever may come. There is no opponent. Because the word I does not exist. It does not exist. There is no opponent. Because the word I does not exist. It does not exist. When the opponent expands, I contract. When it contracts, I expand. And when there is an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself. It hits all by itself. It hits all by itself. It hits all by itself.
Akira The Don is for the heroes.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. One heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force
So hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. Hold on. Walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
なんとなく生きてんじゃないですか。迷ってんじゃないですか。生き生きさい。簡単ですよ。過去のことを思っちゃダメだよ。なんであんなことしたんだろうって。怒りに変わってくるから。未来のことも思っちゃダメ。大丈夫かな。ああ、不安になってくるでしょ。ならば一生懸命一つのところに命をかけ。そうだ。今ここを生きていけばみんな生き生きするぞ。ならば一生懸命一つのところに命をかけ。そうだ。今ここを生きていけばみんな生き生きするぞ。
Stop drifting from the path. You're never gonna read the notebooks or about acts of ancient Romans and Greeks, so just forget about that. Stack of books you've been saving for old age, cause you ain't getting to that. Sprint for the finish, right off your idle hopes. And if you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. They don't realize how much is included in stealing, sewing, buying, resting, seeing some business, not with the eyes, but with another kind of sight. They don't realize how much is included in stealing, sewing, buying, resting, seeing some business, not with the eyes, but with another kind of sight. So stop drifting from the path. You're never gonna read the notebooks all about the acts of ancient Romans and Greeks, and just forget about that. Stack of books you've been saving for old age, cause you ain't getting to that. Sprint for the finish, right off your idle hopes. And if you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. If you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. If you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. If you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. If you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can. 1, 2, 3. Stop drifting from the path. You're never gonna read the notebooks or about the acts of ancient Romans and Greeks, so just forget about that. Stack of books you've been saving for old age, cause you ain't getting to that. Sprint for the finish, right off your idle hopes. And if you care, it's all for yourself then. Be your own savior while you still can.
He's got clout.
If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say? And why?
One of my I guess my mantra is a very simple one. Discipline equals freedom.
Discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 freedom.
The answer is discipline. You want more free time? Follow a more disciplined time management system. You want financial freedom? Implement long-term financial discipline in your life. Do you want to be physically free to move how you want? To be free from many health issues caused by poor lifestyle choices? Then you have to have the discipline to eat healthy food and consistently work out. We all want freedom. Discipline is the only way to get it. Discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline
equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom.
Discipline starts with waking up early. It really does. But that is just the beginning. It is working out every day. It is eating the right foods to fuel your system correctly. It is disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It is about having the discipline to control your ego so it doesn't get out of hand and control you. It is about treating people the way you would want to be treated. It is about doing the tasks you don't want to do, but you know will help you. Discipline is about facing your fears so you can conquer them. break down another time, to give in to desire and short-term gratification. Discipline will not allow that. Discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. It won't accept weakness. It won't tolerate a breakdown in will. Discipline can seem like your worst enemy, but in reality, it is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can, and it will put you on the path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness. And most important, discipline will put you on the path to freedom. Discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom. Discipline. Discipline, 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 discipline.
Akira.
Take 10 seconds to get it again, beast. Get it, David, come on. Take 10 seconds to get it again, beast. Get it, David, come on. Take 10 seconds to get it again, beast. Get it, David, come on. Take 10 seconds to get it again, beast. Get it, David, come on. Get it, David, come on. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Energy. Let it out. 7, 8, 9, 10. A machine here. There you go. Nobody works like David in this house. 13, come on. 14, come on. 15, come on. Cut that muscle down. 16, 17. Come on. Come on. Get it. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Get it. 18. They all know me, son. Get it. Get it. 19. They all know me, son. Yeah. 20. You got some more. 21. Get it again. We want to see it. That's you, buddy. Come on. 23. 24. One more, David. Come on. One more, David. Come on. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? That's you, buddy. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? You did it. Yeah. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? They all know me, son. Get it, get it, get it. They all know me, son. Get it, get it, get it. They all know me, son. Get it, get it, get it. They all know me, son.
Does complacency come with age, and do I have the urge to back off? Negative. Negative. Back off? Not happening. I hear that I'm over 40, I'm pushing 50, whatever. there, 18 years old, 20 years old, 24 years old. Listen. Life goes by, and it goes by quick. Don't waste those years. Don't waste them. Live them. I know that you don't think you're gonna live to be 30, much less 40, but you are and you will. And the earlier you get in the game and get on track, the better life you're gonna have. Healthier, wealthier, stronger, smarter, better. Better. And if you're an old man like me, and you haven't gotten on track yet, get on track. Get on it now. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. 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 Every fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. Everyone listening to this, here's the deal. No complacency. No complacency. No backing off. No slack whatsoever. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. So, like the end of a hard day, you can put your head down with ease, satisfied that you're giving your best. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. 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 Every fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. 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 Every fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. Got.
Akira.
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. But it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them and take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life. Sometimes the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. That's a beauty.
It's a beautiful day to be alive. We give thanks to the ancestors for the miracle they bequeathed us. We vow to not squander this hitherto unimaginable opportunity. Meaning wave.
Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, strength, perseverance, self-control. Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, cheerful, strength, perseverance, self-control. Compassion, unwavering adherence to decisions once he'd reached them. Indifference is superficial honors. Listening to anyone who could contribute to the public good. His dogged determination to treat people as they deserved. A sense of when to push and when to back off. His altruism. Not expecting his friends to keep him entertained at dinner or to travel with him. And anyone who had to stay behind to take care of something always found him the same when he returned. His searching questions at meetings, a kind of single-mindedness, almost never content with first impressions or breaking up the discussion prematurely. His constancy to friends, never getting fed up with them or playing favorites. And his advanced planning, well in advance. And his discreet attention to even minor things. His restrictions on acclamations. And all attempts to flatter him, his constant devotion to the empire's need, his stewardship at the treasury, willingness to take responsibility and blame for both. His attitude to the gods, no superstitiousness. His attitude to men, no demagoguery, no currying favor, no pandering. Always sober, always steady, never vulgar or a prey to fads. No currying favor, no pandering. Always sober, always steady, never vulgar or a prey to fads. Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, strength, perseverance, self-control. Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, cheerful, strength, perseverance, self-control. The way he handled the material comforts that fortune had supplied him in such abundance, without arrogance and without apology. If they were there, he took advantage. If not, he didn't miss them. No one ever called him glib or shameless or pedantic. They saw him for what he was, a man tested by life, accomplished, unswayed by flattery, qualified to govern both himself and them. Both himself and them. His respect for people who practiced philosophy, at least for those sincere about it, but without denigrating the others or listening to them. His ability to feel at ease with people and to put them at their ease without being pushy. His willingness to take adequate care of himself. Not a hypochondriac obsessed with his appearance, but not ignoring things either. With the result that he hardly ever needed medical attention, or drugs or any sort of salve or ointment. This in particular. His willingness to yield the floor to experts in oratory, law, psychology, whatever, and to support them energetically, so each could fulfill his potential. He respected tradition without need to constantly congratulate himself for safeguarding traditional values. Not prone to go off on tangents or pulled in all directions, but sticking with the same old places and the same old things. The way he could have one of his migraines, then go right back to what he was doing. Fresh and at the top of his game, that he had so few secrets, only state secrets, in fact, and not all that many of those. The way he kept public actions within reasonable bounds. Games, building projects because he looked to what needed doing and not the credit to be gained from doing it. No bathing at strange hours, no self-indulgent building projects, no concern for food or the cut and colour of his clothes, or having attractive slaves. He never exhibited rudeness, lost control of himself, turned violent. No one saw him sweat. Everything was to be approached logically and with due consideration, in a calm and orderly fashion, but decisively, with no loose ends. You could have said of him that he knew how to enjoy and abstain from things that most find hard to abstain from and all too easy to enjoy. But to be strong enough both to bear the one and be sober in the other is the mark of a man with a perfect and invincible soul. Ay. But to be strong enough both to bear the one and be sober in the other is the mark of a man with a perfect and invincible soul. Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, strength, perseverance, self-control. Hard work and persistence, self-reliance always, cheerful, strength, perseverance, self-control.
With regard to courage, the great expression of courage is to persist in the face of adversity, to persist when things really get rough.
Nothing's gonna stop me. Nah, nah, not me. 'Cause I'm unstoppable.
To be able to pick yourself up and pick yourself up over and over again. And believe me, if you decide to go for the goal in your life, you're going to get knocked down over and over and over and over again. Every single week you're going to have heartaches and disappointments and frustrations and setbacks and obstacles. But without those obstacles, no success is possible. You see, the only way we can be successful is if we develop momentum. And we cannot develop the momentum unless we are struggling with obstacles. And struggle with adversity goes hand in hand with all great success. What most people do is they back away from adversity. But if you want to see if you're a brave person, what they call the 4 o'clock in the morning courage, wait when things go completely to pieces, when things are the worst, when your very best deal falls apart and your rent is late and you're tired and you're sick and everybody is mad at you and your car doesn't work. Then it's the person that picks themselves up and says nothing is going to stop me. I've made it my life's habit to develop this quality. I hope I've got it, I don't know for sure. But the quality is to develop the quality of being unstoppable. Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Say in yourself that no matter what life throws at me, it'll never stop me. No matter how rough it gets, I will never quit. And nothing will ever stop me. Make the decision that you can be tired, you can be worn out, but nothing is ever going to stop you. That's a wonderful decision. Because then no matter what life throws at you, you pick yourself up. And you say, okay, give it your best shot, as Fonzie says. Nothing is going to stop you. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It's the basis of self-esteem. It's the basis of self-esteem. Nothing is going to stop you.
Some of us become entitled. We think our pain entitles us to feel sorry for ourselves or that we're entitled to good fortune because we survived hell. Of course, feeling entitled doesn't make it so. Understand? The clock is always ticking, and at some point your golden hour will expire unless you take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. People who get lost in their past, the ones who bore their friends and family with the same tragic story over and over, over and over and over, without showing a hint of progress, remind me of a skydiver who becomes too fixated on their tangled parachute. They know they have a backup ready to go, but burn so much time trying to fix the primary chute that they forget to track their altimeter. And by the time they cut the first chute away and pull the second ripcord, it's too late. 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 Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Part of the problem is that they have become terrified of pulling that second cord, because if it's also fucked up, then they truly will be helpless. That is a mental trap set by fear. We cannot afford to remain afraid of cutting away dead weight to save ourselves. I was that skydiver for far too long. My father was violent. My mom was broken. I was bullied, laughed at, and misunderstood. Check, check, and checkmate. And yet, I was breathing free, and I was not bleeding. Physically, I was alive and well, and perfectly capable of cutting all of that bullshit away. I'd wasted way too much of my life telling myself the same sad story. I needed to move forward. It was time to write something new. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. If an act of God or nature tore your life apart, the good news is that you really have nobody to blame. Yet, the randomness of it all can feel so personal, as if you've been marked for doom by the fates. If you feel wronged by somebody else, you may be waiting on a confession or an apology in order to move forward. But I'm sorry to say the apology, that tearful confession you've been dreaming of, will never come. The good news is, you don't need anybody else to free you from your trauma. You can do it on your own. My father never apologized to me. Nobody ever said sorry for anything I went through. I had to come to the conclusion that while I didn't deserve any of it, I was my main problem and primary obstacle. I'd given my father all my power. I had to take it back. I had to diffuse my demon. I had to shrink him down to the lowly, pathetic figure he was by, humanizing him, just as there was no other way to come out of the gauntlet. That was my childhood, except fucked up. I had to see that he was a mortally fucked up piece of shit because of what he went through. Once I understood that, it was up to me to either do the hard work to break that cycle or stay cursed. Like medics on the scene of a car accident, we all must act with a sense of urgency and tune into that ticking clock in the back of our minds. There is a drop-dead time on everything we do in life. All our dreams and visions come with expiration dates etched in invisible ink. Windows of opportunity can and do close, so it is imperative that we do not waste time on bullshit. Take action. Take action. clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action. Take action. Take action. The clock is always ticking. Take action.
What's the answer to the meaning of life? Here's an answer. I was trying to solve this terrible puzzle about how it was that human beings got themselves in such a tangle about what they believed. Such a tangle that we were pointing the ultimate weapons of destruction at one another, which, by the way, we are still doing. I thought, okay, well, I understand that. We need our belief systems. They orient us. And that means there will be conflict between belief systems, and that can be a catastrophe. And that's being played out everywhere, again, in very many ways. What's the solution to that? Well, one possibility is there's no solution. It's just mayhem all the way around. Could be the case. But it seemed to me, as I delved into it, that the proper solution to that was to live properly. As an individual.
You're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful.
God only knows what you are in the final analysis.
You're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful.
You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. And so then I think, well, if you got your act together, it'd be better for you, and instantly it would be better for your family, assuming they wanted you to get your act together, and not everyone does. And then it would be better for the community. Like, how far could you take that? If you stopped wasting time, and if you stopped lying, and if you oriented yourself to the highest possible good that you could conceive of, and you committed to that. How much good could you do? Well, I would say, why don't you find out? So, that's what I think you should do. You should find out.
You're more powerful than you think.
Way more powerful. God only knows what you are in the final analysis.
You're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful.
You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. Maybe you could sort yourself out so that you wanted nothing but the good. And then maybe you could help make that manifest in the world. Maybe we wouldn't have all these terrible problems then. At least we'd have fewer of them, and that would be a start. 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 The answer to the problem of humanity is the integrity of the individual.
You're more powerful than you think.
Way more powerful. God only knows what you are in the final analysis.
You're more powerful than you think.
Way more powerful. You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. That's the answer. So, and then you think, well, what's the barrier? And the barrier is, are you willing to accept the responsibility? And part of the answer to that is, reduce the damn responsibility until it's tolerable. You don't have to fix everything at once. You could just start by fixing the things that you could fix. You could do it with even less self-sacrifice. You can start by fixing only the things that you want to fix. God, you can get a massive way that way. So, do it. See what happens. That's what you should have been taught right from the beginning. Aim at the highest good. Tool yourself into something that can attain it. And go out there and manifest it in the world. Everything that comes your way will be everything that comes your way will be a blessing. Everything that comes your way will be a blessing. Everything that comes your way will be a blessing. Everything that comes your way will be a blessing. I knew this guy. He'd been in a motorcycle accident and it really ruined him. And he was like a linesman, you know, working on the power. And he was working with someone who had Parkinson's disease, and they had complementary inadequacies. And so two of them could do the job of one person. So they're out there fixing power lines in the freezing cold, despite the fact that one was 3/4 wrecked with a motorcycle accident. The other one had Parkinson's. It's like, that's how our civilization works. There's all these ruined people out there. They've got problems like you can't believe. Off they go to work. Can do things they don't even like. And look, the lights are on. My God, it's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. And we're so ungrateful. College students, postmodern times, are so ungrateful. You know, they don't know that they're surrounded by just a bloody miracle. A miracle that all this stuff works. That all you crazy chimpanzees that don't know each other can sit in the same room for 2 hours sweltering away without tearing each other apart, because that's what chimps do. Without tearing each other apart, because that's what chimps do. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. So, anyways, so, what happened? Well, I made some videos and I got to the bottom of some things, at least as far as I could tell. So I told you what the bottom is. Then I got this idea about what you might do about it, which isn't my idea. It's not my idea. It's an old idea. It's far older than Christianity. It's the oldest story of mankind. It's old. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Make the suffering in the world less. Well, that's the way forward, as far as I can tell. If there is any way forward. And that's what it looks like to me. So, that's it.
meaningwave.com. Because happiness is a side effect of meaning.